He's frozen, folks.
Thank you for tuning in for this Unity Partner Program. Unity Online Radio
Did I have the shirt
partners
on
with
last
spiritual
week?
leaders
No.
from
Okay.
organizations
I would've made
whose
fun of
mission
you.
and messages complement Unity's. We are pleased to bring you this program on Unity Online Radio, the voice of an awakening world.
Hey, it's moving. Oh, it's a real one now. My reading glasses. Oh no.
This one is called the pants.
We still have
Take
time.
8.
Welcome to Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed, the best-looking guys
got
on the
lots
radio.
of
We all know
segments.
the funniest things happen when we stop taking ourselves too seriously and step out boldly, like Mr. Magoo blindly stepping
This
onto the next swinging
episode
girder
is
and falling into an
loaded,
outrageous jackpot.
It's a guru.
Your hosts, Darrell and Ed,
The
are
video.
about to administer a
Just
refreshing
imagine
dose of laughter
Zara's
and
head
love
set
that will
to music.
inspire and experience the funniest things. Now, here are your hosts, Darrell and Ed.
There's the light. We're on the air.
Oh boy.
Welcome to The Funniest Thing, where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes. I'm Darryl.
And I'm Mountain Man. No, I'm Ed.
And we are broadcasting live from Middle School Studios in downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
We've made an important discovery that we thought we'd share as the title for today's show.
Yes, I don't know if everyone realizes this fact about themselves,
That's
or
right.
ourselves, or everyone.
You see them advertised on television in the commercial.
You hear it all the time.
Yes, but rarely do we recognize how true it is for all of us.
That's right. So what is it? Oh,
Come on,
it's-
Darryl. Lay it on
Today's
us.
topic is we're all free-range chickens.
We're all free-range chickens. There's no need to remain cooped up. The moment you were born, you were granted unlimited freedom and power to enjoy the fulfillment of your dreams. That's pretty good. I like that line.
Yes.
Let go of petty thinking and join Darrell and Ed at home on the range. And during the second segment, Timothy A. Parkhurst, U.S. Marine veteran and co-founder of Warrior Hall, drops by to roost and discuss today's daily word, free. Free! Free! Because really we're all have a lot more freedom than we tend to recognize, or even feeling comfortable enough to recognize how much freedom and to enjoy the freedom that we really do have.
I think we spend more time trying to deny that we have so much freedom. Like telling ourselves and telling others, no, I wish I could do that, but, can't.
Hence today's title, We're All Free-Range Chickens.
Yes.
Because we tend to carry around a lot of fear related to how free we really are and how free we allow ourselves to be.
Oh, I better not let anyone know how free I am because they might think I'm not working hard enough.
I'm just
Or-
being responsible if I stick around and make sure everything goes all right and oversee the person who's working on my home right now. I
Yeah.
should just be here because that's being responsible.
Oh, that's right. I better just stay in my office. That way no one will think that I'm having too good of a time.
No, we can't let them think that.
I gotta earn my shekels.
So, and it's basically letting go of those petty thoughts, which Ed and I like to talk. We like to actually give those thoughts a name, and we call those thoughts turds.
And the good news is today's 3 breaths are real simple. So we'll just take a breath, clear our mind. Here we go. When I drop my turds, I'm free as a bird.
When I drop my turds, I'm free as a bird.
When I drop my turds,
I'm free as a bird.
Tweet, 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 tweet. Tweet, tweet, tweet.
chirp, chirp.
You know, I actually had to drop my turds to be as free as a
my
bird to get to the
God,
show.
I know.
I just got here because, well, I was at a meeting, and on the form that I received for the meeting was scheduled until 2:10. Now, 2:15's going by, 2:20.
Well, wait. We should let our listeners know in case they're listening in New Jersey or New York or the Midwest.
Yes.
That we actually have to record this on time, live at 3 o'clock Pacific time.
They could even be in Malaysia for all we know.
Yeah. So Ed saying he's going to be done at 2:15 means he has only 45 minutes to drive about 4.5 miles in noontime traffic to get to middle school studios.
Right, which was fine by me because we had done our preparation early today, so we were ready to roll. But
yes.
Once 2:15 passed and then 2:20, I started to feel like a free-range chicken because I knew I had to go, and I actually looked up the email on my phone to confirm. I better make sure that's what it really said. And indeed, it actually said 2:10. The meeting was supposed to be over. So finally, because today's show was we're all free-range chickens, I had to ruffle my tail feathers a little and tell everyone, look, I hate to interrupt, but the meeting notice said 2:10 this would be over. I want to let you know what I've been doing. I have someone waiting for me somewhere I need to be. I said my piece, and away I went.
And I know people listening, just like hearing you say that,
Yes.
that's what we mean by we're free-range chickens, meaning we have the freedom,
Yeah.
but in situations like this, as you were even telling that story, I could feel like, oh
Oh,
no,
my gosh, yeah.
Should I say something? I don't want to look like I'm, because this job, I don't want to jeopardize
Right.
my.
And that is, as soon as I think that way, I could feel the constriction.
Yeah, because then
It's all fear.
It becomes the fear game. Once we start playing that, it's like only one of the two things is real. Either we are free range, free to roam, free to speak our mind, free to choose where we go and what we focus on, or
Life is hard. It may not work out for us.
but the truth is that it does work out for us. You got a quote for us?
Yeah, there's a great quote by Barbara Garrison.
Yes.
And it's
this is great.
Yeah, fear grows out of the things we think. It lives in our minds. Compassion grows out of the thing we are and lives in our hearts. And that is all about, am I going to trust in God
Yes.
and, share or trust in God enough to step out boldly
Yes.
and say what I need to say.
Right.
Do what I need to do,
Yes.
or am I going to listen to the little fearful thoughts, forget about God,
And now just, no, I better do this
because I'm either worried about it's all fear. I'm worried about what people might think about me.
Yes.
I'm worried that I might lose something I already have
Right.
or not get something that I really want if I don't act from this fearful place. And the exact opposite
Yeah,
is
because
true.
we end up cutting ourselves off from the very, there's this loving, supportive flow to life. And when we act out of fear, we cut ourselves off from. We try to act too much out of self-will and do it ourselves, and our shoulders get tense, and our mind starts to race, and it's hard to sleep. And
then things they never work out better than expected when I act from fear.
We got a great reading here.
We have a great reading from You,
Yes.
which is a book by Francis Wilshire, and you don't have to panic and grab a pen and paper and miss what we're going to say if you're listening for the first time, because we will have all these readings on the script page on our website, Darrell and Ed.
Yep.
Just look for today's title, and you'll find all the readings from today. And then you could go to Amazon or just go to our reading list page, and you'll be able to buy these books if you're interested. And this one's from You. It was written in 1925.
yes.
And she says this: your power to demonstrate is your awareness of this presence within you and uniting with it by calling upon it for your every desire and then giving thanks for having already received it.
Yes.
The great cosmic secret is you have your good now. The promise is God, the all good, is everywhere, evenly present and instantly available.
Yes.
Your recognition of this truth and of your oneness with God gives you at once a feeling of oneness with the thing you desire. And this agreement that it is already yours is the powerful back of all demonstration. Be childlike in mind. Be one-pointed in consciousness or direct. Do not hurry, strain, or worry. Remember, there is no distance between God and man. Relax, let go, and affirm. It is easy for the Father indwelling. He doeth the work. Learn the new password. Let me start. He doeth the work. Here, I want to be clear on this because this password is awesome.
Yes.
Learn the new password to let, not to make things happen. And just to wrap it home for our East Coasters, what she's basically saying is don't pussyfoot around. Stop running around to other people. Stop telling other people what you want. Just tell God about it. Ask, and you shall receive. I will give thee the desires of the heart. And this morning, we're always wondering, what are we going to really talk about when the show comes? We're guided by the daily word.
Yes.
And already we had Ed's, and we knew this was going to happen when Ed left, when we split up today. I go, this is going to lead to a great story for the show.
Yep.
And right before I met Ed this morning,
Yes.
I had to not be I was a free-range chicken.
Yes.
I was at my house and I had called Ed because the contractor was coming to inspect my tenant's house at 10 a.m.
Which is in the back house behind you, the house where you live.
That's right. It's a separate home and the tenants need some work done. So at 10 a.m., the contractor wasn't here yet, but Cliff, the tenant, was here.
Who was actually on one of our shows, Cliff Simon.
That's right. I forget the title of that show, but we'll put it on the script page.
One of the great bad guys of Hollywood.
Yes, he is, Cliff Simon. So Cliff was here, and I said, Tilo's going to be coming here at around 10. Before I could say anything, Cliff said, oh, no problem, I'll be here. I'll let him know what needs to be done.
There you go.
And in my mind, I thought, this is where the fear lives in our mind. Because as I started going, wow, I should really stick around and be responsible to make sure that Tilo's clear on what needs to be done. And here's the fearful part that I hate to admit. Because, Cliff might not get it right and might not share it properly. And he may end up doing more than I want him to do. Wah, wah. What was amazing was because of today's topic, instead of being because we could use words like I'm being responsible as ways to justify our fear.
You're not kidding.
And I was already told, God speaks to us through people, that Cliff was going to be here. Tilo is on his way.
Yeah.
So I either trust in God and throw my trust God through all these people that it's all going to be fine, or I don't trust God. It's one or the other. And I chose, I'm going to just trust in God. I'm not going to be a free-range chicken. I'm going to be free. And I said, great. I left. I met Ed. As soon as I chose to leave, just like Francis Wilshire, I immediately started feeling confidence. And we're going to read about that in the Daily Word. Like I felt confident and I felt really healthy.
That's right.
Like emotionally healthy, that everything's going to be fine. It made me appreciate Cliff more. It made me appreciate Tilo, the contractor, more.
Yes.
Because now God's trust, my trust in God and my faith that God works through people just increased.
Yes.
It was incredible.
Yes. I mean, it's amazing how much kind of the word responsibility gets mistaken for worrying and feeling stressful.
I used to think if I wasn't worrying, I wasn't being responsible. If I wasn't worrying, then I'm not taking this seriously.
Oh my gosh.
It's horse shit.
I know. I have the best. You had to let that out, man. You had to let that turn out. I have the greatest job in the world, probably, especially in the world of education. And I think the hardest thing for me to do, and I've been meditating on it lately. And here, like yesterday, I kind of just asked like my inner self, like, what do I have to do now? Oh, it's because there's something that came up as something that needed to be done for my job. And I was like, oh, I think I was going to meet you. But my fearful mind started going, oh, I better go over to the school and do that right now. And then But because of the show, I took a breath because I knew that was the free-range chicken in me. And I heard this clear voice inside me go, "You're going to be at that very school tomorrow. You could take care of it then." And it would have been very easy to override that and go with the fear, because that's like where the adrenaline is and like the physical body's reacting to that.
The energy already seems to be like shoving in that way.
Yeah. But you know what? Sure enough, I found the cojones to go along with the inner voice that said, "You're going to be there tomorrow." And today I was there at the school, and it just everything I needed was perfectly in order. It was amazing.
Yeah, just like when I was with Ed after I let this whole thing go, and we took a little walk to get something to eat. Then I got a call from Tilo, to say that everything was great, and then I saw, I got a call from Cliff right after that, and he said, "Oh, everything's going fine, everything's great." And Tilo's coming on Friday to do all the work. Yeah. It was like I was totally... It was so much better than had I stuck around, missed meeting with you, and missed this opportunity to share this adventure in faith with our listeners.
You know, this quote from A New Day from the other day, Arthur Schopenhauer said, "Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world." And this reminds me of, there's so many things we think we're supposed to do it that way.
Yes.
It may not be the best way to do it, but we get this, and it always means fear is telling me I should do it that way. But we're supposed to do it that way. And there's so many opportunities. God, or like our intuition, our hunches, our love always leads us to the best way to do it. Not the way we're supposed to do it, but the best way. That will lead to better than expected outcomes, will lead to your shoulders relaxing, will lead to friendship along the way, joy. It's so awesome.
And it always works out. That's why we say stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes. Because doing this, we always get the reassurance that it does really work. We were watching a promotional video, a sample of a promotional video that
came from the Ugozi cruise that Darryl was just on.
Oh my God! So we got the
rough cut.
The rough cut. So Ed was with me, so I was like, "All right, let's take a peek at this." And we started watching it, and all of a sudden, my head pops on the screen, set to music, with the same things that we share on this show that Ed and I both know are true.
Yes.
But as I was watching it in my head, I'm going, "This sounds like a bunch of bull crap."
We both have the same. This guy sounds like an idiot. It can't be that easy.
It can't be that easy. And we both had to admit it to each other. It's like, holy crap, we're even grouchy, judgmental, naysayers to our own selves about what we both know really works.
We don't want to sound like dummies who just have blind faith.
I know. But then I'm going, "Oh no, what are people going to think about this?" And Ed goes, "Come on, look how much joy we're having with this."
How many shows have we done about dummying down?
I know. So we just had to laugh at it and know that joy is the strength of the Lord. That's what I remember. And if this brought me so much joy, then you know what? Then that's the perfect promo video. God bless it. Who cares?
And the rewards we get by following this joyful free range path, they far outweigh and outnumber any little moment of approval we're going to get from somebody else by looking smart or whatever. Terrible. All right. Coming up next, Timothy A. Parkhurst, U.S. Marine veteran and co-founder of Warrior Hall, drops by to roost and discuss today's daily word. Free! Thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
This one is called the pants. Take 8.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Comfort looks like a real stiff today.
I know. I would prefer that picture was not the. It would be nice if it was just like a little drawing or something. Right?
I gotta make him a drawing, a headshot cartoon.
It's very intense. I want to share, since we're on the YouTube right now, a quick story. I talked to a guy the other day I told you about him. He funniest thinged his way into a job editing commercials.
Oh yeah, that's a great story.
And he had been editing music and stuff for his band. That's how he got into editing. He was a musician. He'd just been editing sound and video and stuff, but just for fun for his band. Long story short, now he edits major commercials. Oh wait, is our buddy here?
Hey, this is Tim.
Tim!
Where's your video?
How's it going, man?
Do you have video?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're going to accept it.
Let's see if he's wearing his helmet.
Let's see.
No helmets, man.
Wait.
Come on, let's see.
Do I need video? Because that tears up bandwidth.
Oh, well, are you plugged in?
Well, I'm on Wi-Fi, so.
All right.
Well,
Well, your choice.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun for us to be able to see you sometimes because it seems like it makes it just easier.
It's easier to read what everyone's thinking.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you can hear me.
No,
okay.
look at you. Look great.
All right.
There
Hey,
he
what's going on,
is.
guys?
We are so happy you're here.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I'm glad I was able to fill in for Bennett.
Me
Oh, it's
too.
perfect.
Me too.
When the segment starts, we'll Ed and I just thank the listeners for a bit and
Do
say
a few different things, and then we'll bring you on.
and then we'll introduce you and you jump in.
Oh yeah, I have your
Were,
bio here.
were
too.
you in Panama? When were you in Panama?
So it's kind of a weird thing. We went down there for training, but it was like just literally weeks before the invasion, and we did contingency operations, with live ammo and stuff, patrolling around the canal zone. But we actually left prior to the invasion, so we weren't there for the actual invasion. My unit, my CO kind of had a little tiff with some special forces guys that were kind of running the show down there, and they basically said, "Yeah, you guys got to go." So,
Well, hey, it happens. I was asking because my brother was sent down there at the same time for to bring Noriega back out of there. He was in the Air Force at the time, so he disappeared off the radar because I couldn't get in touch with him, even though I was in the Coast Guard. I was like, "What the hell happened to my brother?" And then, sure enough, he came back. He said, "Oh." He goes, everything was hush hush. I couldn't communicate
Sounds
to
like
anyone
your brother.
until this thing
Alrighty.
until this was in the news.
Let's ready
Here
to
we
go
go.
back.
Oh, we're ready.
Yeah.
You're listening to Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed, the best looking guys on the radio. If you have a question or comment about today's show, or if you'd like to join in the discussion, friend us on Facebook at Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed, or email us at funniestthing@unityonlineradio.org. Now, back to Funniest Thing.
Welcome back. We're all free-range chickens.
Yes, we are. On the break, I started to tell this story
yeah.
about my buddy who fumbled his way into
Film editing, commercials.
like big time commercials, like
Super Bowl
So
commercials.
when Super Bowl commercials come around, there's the reason I was just quickly going to tell the story was because now there's like $4.5 million or something per spot. That's what they pay for the spot.
Easy.
So he said those are the times when it's just like they scrutinize it so much, right? And then everyone has something to say, right? And he said that. So I asked him. I said, "Yeah, but from your real perspective, because this is a guy who didn't go to school for this at all. He just learned it as he went.
Right.
So he's like you and I, and he's doing it out of inspiration and
Right.
common sense rather than the way it's supposed to be done." And he said, "Dude, the thing just because there's so much money, everyone wants to feel like they're earning it.
Yes.
So now everyone has to say, no, that needs to be 3 frames per second clear, some imperceptible thing. But they all have to, because they feel it's almost like an unworthiness. In order to be worthy of all this money we're getting paid, we got to overly complicate it. The challenge is that it, with meetings I go to wherever, it's like the real goal of life is to feel good, to be effective, to co-create things together and feel good about it along the way.
Well, like your friend quoted Picasso, says it takes 2 people to paint a painting. One to move the brush and make the painting, and another person
to knock him out when he's done.
To knock him out when it's time to stop.
Yeah, I think that was Rembrandt, wasn't it?
Could have been, but I know Picasso said the same thing.
Oh, he did?
In a weird way. Yeah, it's all kind of attributed to
Yeah,
everybody.
Well, you're the artist.
Well,
You're
you
the
just make
resident
it.
artist.
Just like I make up stuff. I said
that guy too at that coffee shop's not necessarily the guy.
Yeah, you just say if you want to impress people, you just make up a quote and then attribute it to Ben Franklin.
But the point of the whole thing about me sharing that, like we all have, when we just follow our heart and our common sense and we keep an open mind and cooperate with one another and cooperate with the higher good, and,
Yes.
like our intuition, the most amazing things happen. And a lot of times the way we think we're supposed to do it, and we feel guilty about not doing that way, there's a reason why it feels bad, because that's not the best way to do it.
No, it's not. And it goes along with our little summary where the moment we were born, we were granted unlimited freedom and prosperity.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, somewhere along the line, we think, well, wait a minute, I don't deserve it unless I really suffer a little bit for it. And that's the opposite of true, because when I'm feeling enthusiastic and I'm doing things with joy, I end up getting compensated.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
You know, just fine. I mean,
Be better than expected.
more than I need. But when I'm like, I gotta get this, I gotta do that, I gotta make this happen, I really squash the hose that flows with my prosperity towards myself.
That's why it takes courage to live joyfully and freely, because our mind is so programmed to be fearful, really. What a lot of people consider just doing it the way you're supposed to do is really living out of fear and seeking the approval of others. So it takes courage to face our own mind when our own mind is fearful and wanting to compromise.
Oh, that's why it takes faith to step out boldly.
All right, so let's thank our listeners. This week,
oh my God,
Darrell and Ed partnered with Facebook by boosting a post.
We never did it before, and Ed was just inspired one day. What the hey?
Yeah.
I got $30. I'm just going to boost this post for 7 days.
So for a couple of days, it was like going through the roof. We ended up with like 1,219 likes on that post relative to the 7 we usually get.
That's right.
So Jeff Comfort shined some light on something when all of a sudden we realized every like, besides Jen Henry, Kathy Quinn,
and maybe Sandy Page
and Ingrid Turner, all the rest came from Indonesia. So Jeff Comfort, the chief engineer here, helped us to realize that it's because Facebook pays people in Indonesia like 1 cent to click like on the boosted posts.
Yes, so the suckers here in America keep going, I'm going to keep boosting I'm going to spend another 30. This is amazing.
So for one, we want to thank all of our fans in Indonesia who liked our post.
Yes.
All 1,200 of you.
Even though we can't pronounce any of your names, we love you.
We do love you. That's the truth. And yes, we discovered something.
Yes. That with these pennies they're receiving, they're finally going to be able to get rid of those crummy Tom shoes.
Yes.
And now they'll be able to get a pair of shoes with some arch support.
That's right. So thank you, Facebook. Thank you, Indonesia. And let's see here. We have a P.O. Box. Funniest thing, P.O. Box 1312, Culver City, California, 90232. If you ever want to send us anything, that's a great place to do it. And we also just want to thank you for listening.
Yeah, we feel like we love our listeners.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, it's true.
We're so appreciative. We do.
And we have people that come through town.
They
write to us through our website, darrelanded.com, or through our P.O. Box, or through our Facebook fan page. And we've connected with several of our fans and had the greatest time of our lives.
The greatest people listen to Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed.
And we take them to the coffee houses we hang out in, and the conservatory or wherever it is that we talk about. And it's funny, they'll thank us. Thank you for taking the time. We had the Knight family, Sherry Knight and Mike.
From Kentucky.
Yes, and their daughters Rachel and Bryce is their son. They came in, and at the end, they thanked Darrell and Ed. Thank you for making this time. We're like, what are you talking about? This is what we really would have been doing anyway.
Yeah, it's what we do anyways, hang out in these coffee shops and walk around downtown Culver City.
That's exactly right. So why don't we take a moment to thank our chief engineer,
Jeff Comfort.
Jeff Comfort. Each week,
he takes us
right
into the comfort zone. Yeah.
There he goes. Buzzing the tower.
We also want to give a shout out to the prayer line, 1-800-PRAY-NOW-PRAY. That's 1-800-NOW-PRAY or 800-669-7729. It's been around for 125 years. If you call it, there is no obligation. You're not going to be solicited for anything. All you'll hear is, I'm so-and-so. They'll say their name. How may we pray with you? And they'll pray with you for 30 days. I mean, they'll continue to pray for 30 days. They'll pray with you in that moment. And I got to tell you, just making that call, taking that leap of faith instead of going, no, I'm a man.
Yes.
I don't need to call him. This is silly. It's going to be fine.
Right.
There's something about not justifying that fear and making that call that all of a sudden I could feel it like lift off my
Yes.
shoulders. And then I start feeling enthusiastic, knowing that the outcome's going to be much better than what I had been thinking.
And there's a great app. I don't know if you just mentioned it
No,
or
I
not. It
didn't.
was the letter U, pray. It's You Pray, the letter U, then the word pray. It's free at the App Store. There you can type in your prayers, or you can push one button to call into the prayer line. And that is a fantastic tool. We both use it all the time. And sometimes I wonder, do they keep seeing me coming? Do they ever think, dude, this guy's praying so much?
Well, you know how much fun it is when we pray for other people?
Yeah.
We start to feel really good, so they're probably happy we're calling all the time.
Now,
And
you were talking about, what are you going to say?
I was ready to do the daily word. Why, what
I
was
know,
say?
because I was going to say, we're going to dispel more myths about being a real man.
Oh my God!
Because we keep bringing in these guests that make my son so impressed with our show, and I go, dude, guess who's going to be on the show tomorrow? Let me read the bio of our guest that we have coming up to read the Daily Word. And you can order the Daily Word from our website, darrellanded.com. There's a special introductory offer, which is really cheap, the cheapest one going.
Yes, it is.
And let's see here. I have the... Okay. So Tim Parkhurst, is that correct? Did I get that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it sounds good to me.
Tim served as a U.S. Marine for over 25 years, including service in Panama, Desert Storm, Iraq, and Afghanistan. With experience as a communicator, infantryman, scout sniper, and parachute rigger, he proudly served in all 4 Marine divisions, various logistics units, 2 reconnaissance battalions, and with Marine Corps Forces Special Operations Command. He's also the 2014 graduate of the Entrepreneurship Boot Camp for Veterans
right.
with Disabilities, which is where I believe you guys connected, right, at Syracuse University. He's the vice president and co-founder of Warrior Hall. Tim and Leonie, he's married to, is that right, Leonie? Tim?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Have been married since 1992 and have 2 beautiful daughters. They currently live near Camp Lejeune, is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
North Carolina, where Tim is an aspiring serial entrepreneur.
Wait a minute. I'm a serial entrepreneur.
What do you mean by that?
I'm inspired only at breakfast time.
Tim!
All right. So today's daily word.
Wow.
This guy's
Hang
ready.
on. Let me grab it. We're ready.
My trust in God gives me true freedom. At times I may feel constrained by my doubts and fears, yet I can move away from mistaken beliefs in lack and limitation. I can do so by turning my attention from false negative beliefs and instead turn toward the light and understanding of God. Doing so aligns my thoughts with spiritual awareness. God's presence helps me to step out of that state of doubt. This connection with the divine moves me forward in faith. My mind is focused, my heart is at peace, and my spirit now soars. I am free of seeming limitations. I'm free of fear. Confidence is mine as I embrace the spiritual freedom that God provides. And the scripture is, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And all of us, seeing the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. And that's from 2 Corinthians 3, verses 17 and 18.
Oh, man.
That is good.
I know. I'm a little bit concerned because his voice outshines ours on the radio.
You're not kidding.
Not only did this guy
Awesome.
Not only did this guy protect us from harm's way for 25 years,
Right.
now he's outshining us on the show.
I know.
Hey, man, we are so happy.
Yes.
You can hire me anytime.
Hey, we are so happy that things worked out the way we did, and unexpectedly, you're the
Right.
guest today. It always works out great like that.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's great to be here.
I was just, as you were reading it, I was just thinking of you and Warrior Hall and the ability to turn from mistaken beliefs and lack and limitation to God and moving forward with faith. And I don't know, I could just feel the meaning in the words coming from you.
And
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, the word free, I mean, we fight for freedom in the military, so that's kind of the thing we all say we do. But a lot of times we don't really put it into the context that you guys did, spiritually, and aligning ourselves with God and understanding where true freedom comes from. And that's one of the things I was really excited about when I heard I was going to get to come on with you guys. And I saw what you'd written here about freedom and how, God has already given it to us. We just got to take it. We just have to accept it and let God, move in our lives and, let our hearts focus on the peace that comes in faith. So really powerful words.
Yeah. And even thinking about it when you said about how we all fight for freedom, I mean, it really makes me appreciate, we really do, we are all very fortunate. If you're listening to this and you're, and you're an American citizen, from all the places I've traveled, we're very fortunate here because really there's nothing really ever holding us back in this country if we have any desire, to do any worthwhile goal. There's nothing ever holding us back here at all, except for the obstacles within fear within my own mind.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm actually I'm sitting in Michael Penny's house. You guys know Michael.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we're over here doing our podcast with Cigars and Sea Stories tonight. Had a couple of guests on, and of course, our topics turn to entrepreneurship pretty often because that's kind of how we all met, and that's how, one of the mediums through which we want to add value to the world. And one of the things that keeps coming up in conversation, no matter who we're talking to or what walk of life they come from, it's stepping out on faith and
Yes.
taking that big leap, taking the risk, and we feel like it's a risk because we're afraid. We have fear in our hearts, and it's just our own human minds that kind of conjure up all these fears. But, God really is in control. And if you're able to step out on faith and just kind of release all those fears, God will bless it. It may not be right now, it may not be tomorrow, but
Yes.
God will bless it for sure.
That's the first reading we did. There was a line that said, "The great cosmic secret is you have your good now." And that, when I hear you talking about freedom, is a lot of people, I think when we get into fear-based thinking, I stop seeing what I already have and I stop appreciating what I already have. And that's why we try to keep our perspective so high so that we can see, activate, actualize, utilize what we already have. So that keeps us out of desperation and keeps us in a state of inspiration and taking inspired action.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we're afraid and it limits us so we don't take that step, and we by giving into the fear, we just keep building more boundaries for ourselves. And, then things start to seem insurmountable. One of the things with some veterans, particularly combat veterans, there's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of things a lot of baggage, if you will. I think combat veterans are some of the strongest people there are, having survived what they've done and being able to then transition back to a peaceful life in society. But, there's certain things that happen and that you experience that kind of break your spirit to a degree, and some of those things may never completely heal, but we overcome them and we learn to deal with them. And if you don't embrace the freedom that God gives you, you're never going to overcome those things.
Right.
The guys that struggle the most are the ones that can't let go just understand that God's already there and has given you a path.
That's what I like when you read this, when you said, because that's pretty much these two sentences I in the Daily Word. Like, even if I'm full of doubts and fears, like it says, I may feel constrained by them, yet I can move away from mistaken beliefs and lack of limitation. And I do so by turning my attention, away from these beliefs and then aiming it towards light and understanding of God. And one of the ways that helps me, that I learned early on, I'm talking like 30 years ago, from a Marine, that sounded so ridiculous, was, he said, "Fazaro, when was the last time you made a gratitude list?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" You know what I mean? I got problems here. Gratitude list, really? But you know what? I just did. I was done fighting, and I just did it. And I'll never forget the first time I did. You know, I'm grateful. I'm alive. I'm grateful I have all my limbs. You know, starting with the basics. I got 2 eyes. I can breathe. I'm young. I'm only 23.
Right.
You know, I'm here, you know, stationed here. I'm doing this. I'm with these men, with these people, with these women in my life today that I all started appreciating. And I remember it was like an hour later. He goes, okay, Fazara, what was your problem? And I was like, because we were on a first name basis in this group we were in. I said,
Right.
Mike, I cannot even remember. I said, I can't remember what I was so upset about. He goes, let this be a lesson to you. And then it's like what we appreciate appreciates.
Yes.
You know, and now that's like my go-to method of getting my thinking when I start, you know, getting filled with self-pity or doubt or this is silly or why did I even think about doing this? It's stupid.
Right.
And I bring it towards gratitude. Or Mike Penny always, you know, throws this line in, and it's become like my go-to thought, which is always add value. And once I hear that in my mind,
yes,
it makes me think of I start thinking about how I could add value into people's lives, and I start seeing their little faces in my mind. And it starts making me feel good. You know, like little things like draw a cartoon for so-and-so.
Yes.
Send this to another person. And immediately that flow starts going and my confidence is reestablished.
Oh, so true.
Once I start getting away from
Yes.
getting and move into where can I add value?
Yes.
Yeah, so like the more, I mean, you just said the more you appreciate something or the more you're grateful for it, you know, intently grateful. I mean, you think
Right.
about what you're
Yes.
thankful for, you know, the more worth that thing or that person has in your life.
Yes.
And the more valuable it becomes to you. So it adds value. I mean, just in your own life, not to mention everybody else around you. So
Yeah, because
that's awesome.
It's like the quality of the thoughts, the way those thoughts vibrate, that rise us up and give us a higher perspective from which we can see how good things really are.
How they really are, yeah.
Once we're up there
yeah.
vibrating at that higher vibration, new thoughts come, inspired. That's why I love what you guys do, you and Bennett and Michael Penny, the Cigars and Sea Stories, Warrior Hall. Because I can imagine that if I was a veteran and I heard, like, you guys are like the ones going, come on, right? You know, like, coming from you, you're the ones like Michael. I love his post where it's just like, come on, you know, and he's just because you know sometimes you need to hear that voice, it's just like a rally, just let's do this, you know.
Yeah, it feels like what you guys do feels like seeing I'm in a foxhole, the mud's flying, and then you reach down your hand and say, "Come on, brother, grab my hand."
Yeah, it's like taking that same energy to life.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So you know, we don't want to give a handout. You know, we don't think veterans are like needy or or like more deserving than anybody else of anything.
Right.
But we just want, you know, some guys struggle with certain things. It's kind of a unique circumstance because we never learned how to be grown-ups in the civilian world.
Right.
You know, we became military guys when we were young, right out of high school.
I hear you. Yeah.
You just don't know how to act. And so what they just need is a hand up. That's it. You know, just kind of extend that. Like you just, I'm watching you on the video and I see you reached out your hand like that, like you're pulling a guy out of the foxhole. And that's all it is really, is just reaching a hand down. And the more you pull other people up to be with you, the higher you are elevated by God.
Yeah, and everybody grows up together.
Yeah, I feel like you're going, and I feel like what you're doing is helping to reactivate. Like, you're amazing. Who you are, what you've done, what you can do is amazing. That's what I do with the kids I work with. That's what Darryl does. That's what we try to do. Just speak to the amazing part. Let's get on with it. Let's get into living an amazing life because we're already whole and perfect.
And you're not alone.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and that's what Warrior Hall is trying to do with peer support. You know, we want to take combat veterans who have been through, you know, the same thing all combat veterans have seen, and get training to be peer support specialists so that we know, you know, not just to lend a sympathetic ear, but to actually provide concrete assistance.
That's what
in
it's
just
all
the day-to-day
about.
things, you know, and,
Dude.
And give a hand up.
No,
so where can people go to find out about Warrior Hall?
Yeah, so www.warriorhall.org.
Thank you, sir. And then Cigars and Sea Stories, where do you go to find that?
Cigarsandseastories.com. And sea is S-E-A, like the ocean. So cigarsandseastories.com.
Beautiful. Timothy A. Parkhurst, it is an honor to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, man. It's great to see you, Ed. Finally, I haven't had
Yes,
a chance to meet
dude,
you
I'm
in person
pumped.
yet, but yeah. So Darryl, we got to get together sometime, man.
Yes. I got to come to now that I know you're in North Carolina, Bennett's up there in Delaware, and Penny's
There's so
in
many
North.
of us.
I got to get over there.
Give our love to everyone, will you?
Absolutely, we'll do. Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, this was
it's our
awesome.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Coming up
Yep,
after the
take care.
break, joke of the day, listener mailbag, and more. Thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
It's what is called the pants. Take
Timothy,
eight.
thank you so much. That was awesome.
Incredible.
I feel high as a kite. I
Me
feel like
too.
I went to church.
Oh my God, me too.
You guys are awesome, man. You know what, Darryl? The first time I laid eyes on you, and I don't know if you hear this very often. You probably do, I guess. But because you're in front of a lot of people. But when you laugh, there's something so genuine about your laugh.
Yes.
Oh man, thank you.
It's so infectious, and you can't help but just
That's right.
be happy.
That's
When
right.
you walk away from an encounter with Darryl Fasaro. So.
Oh man,
Yes.
thank you. Because when I hear it in a recording, I go, "Oh my God, that sounds like a psych patient."
So that's all right.
Hey, if it's helping others, I'm willing to have the psych patient laugh.
There you go.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
man.
thank you so much. Tell Michael we love him and everyone else who's over there.
Yep.
Absolutely, guys. Take care. Ed, nice to meet you.
Likewise. God bless you, man.
Yep, you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, we got a quick reading, a joke.
Dude, that was
Mail.
incredible.
Are you kidding me? That was amazing.
Punchline.
Flashlight?
No, the punchline.
Oh.
Punchline is cease in your comfort. Sometimes the bull wins.
Cease in your comfort. Sometimes the bull
It's
wins.
Darryl saying it.
We're ready when you are.
Good one, look at that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're all FreeRange Chickens and we're live. Okay, dude, psyched.
That was like medicine to my...
Dude, I feel like a man. My son is like as amazed at these guests we have.
And that they're super... They practice
Dude, it's amazing.
These principles more than people we know who say, I'm spiritual.
We now return to the funniest
I don't like
thing.
military.
Here are your hosts, Darrell and Ed, the best-looking guys on
This
the
is a
radio.
military grade show.
Hey, we are so happy. This episode is so awesome. If you are just tuning in, you gotta scroll back on the scrubber bar on your podcast and listen to this one from the start.
This is military grade.
Yes, this is. This
Military grade spirituality.
combat tested. And
Yes.
we just had a cigar chomping 25-year
Oh my
Marine
gosh.
Corps veteran share the most
I love those
wonderful spiritual application and perspective. It was just wonderful.
You know,
I feel so good after
you-
that. I feel like I went to church myself.
You can go to warriorhall.org to find out more about what he's up to. Cigars and Sea Stories is their podcast, cigarsandseastories.com, right?
Yeah, I definitely no longer feel like a free-range chicken. I feel like I'm at home
You're
on
a
the
rooster.
range.
A hole on the range.
Wait, what do roosters make?
No, that's not a rooster. I don't know. But
What
I
do
was
we
going
got?
to say, we got to get back on here. You might be listening. Joseph Williams. Joe Williams.
Yes, we gotta
dude.
get Joseph Williams on here. I'll reel him back in
Oh,
this week.
please do. All right. So anyway, this reading came from Science of Mind. It felt so inspiring when I read it. It says, when we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. We must learn to come under the divine government and accept the face that nature's table is ever filled. I think that's accept the fact that nature's table is ever filled. Never was there a cosmic famine. I love this line. It took me a minute to get it. The finite alone has wrought and suffered. The infinite lies stretched in smiling repose, like relaxed smiling.
Yes.
God is always God, no matter what our emotional storm or what our objective situation may be. There is always something hidden in the inner being that has never been violated. We may stumble, but always there is that eternal voice, forever whispering within our ear, that thing which causes the eternal quest, that thing which forever sings and sings.
That is awesome.
That's from Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind.
I'm so happy that's going to be on our script page so I can read that over and over.
Well, the other day, were you there when Jeff Comfort was telling me about his trip to Spain?
Oh, no, you got to fill me in. This is going to be
Well,
good.
one day he stopped at a local restaurant following a day roaming around in Spain. While sipping his wine, he noticed a sizzling, scrumptious-looking platter being served at the next table.
Wow.
Not only did it look good, the smell was wonderful.
Ooh.
He asked the waiter, "What is that you just served?" And the waiter replied,
"Si, Senor Comfort, you have excellent taste. Those are called cojones de toro, bull's testicles from the bullfight this morning, a delicacy."
Jeff Comfort said, "What the heck, bring me an order." And the waiter replied,
"Oh, I'm so sorry, Senor Comfort. There is only one serving per day because there is only one bullfight each morning. If you come early and place your order, we will be sure to have you this delicacy."
Okay, the next morning, Comfort returned, placed his order, and that evening was served the one and only special delicacy of the day.
Wow, so he gets it.
Yup, after a few bites inspecting his platter, he called to the waiter and said, "These are delicious, but they are much, much smaller than the ones I saw you serve yesterday." The waiter shrugged his shoulders and replied,
"Si, Senor Comfort, sometimes the bull wins."
"Oh, Gabi just ran for the bag. Here she comes."
All right. Whoa, wait a second. We got some good mail. And there's a box in there as well.
There is a box in there. Should we go with the letter first? Why don't you read that one?
Okay.
Special.
Okay, this is...
That's from Rachel Gallant.
This is from Rachel Gallant, New Hampshire.
Yes.
It says, "Dear Darrell and Ed, thank you so much for your good luck wishes you sent on the day of the marathon. The Dublin Marathon experience was simply beyond words. I ran with my heart, not with my head this time, and it made all the difference in the world. It was magical. The spectators were out of this world. I cannot thank God enough for all the signs, wonders, and miracles leading up to this event that continuously sprinkled my world with confetti-like joy beyond my wildest dreams. I truly do believe the saying, 'All power is given unto me to bring my heaven upon earth.' Florence Scovel Shin, the past year has been a beautiful unfolding of such truth. Wow. The joy of the Lord is my strength." Nehemiah
8:10.
8:10. Saving the best part for the last was choosing 3 jubilant finishers to bless with your book. What if Godzilla just wanted a hug? And she sent pictures
of
the 3 people
amigos.
she chose to give
3 Irish amigos.
3 Irish amigos she decided to give copies of my book to, and you can learn about that on the past 2 episodes. She said, "God bless to you too. I love your spirits. I love your humor. I love your hearts, Ed and Darryl. Love Rachel, high and wide. Thank you again, Darrell and Ed. It was so much fun. P.S. I ran fast enough to qualify to run in the Boston Marathon, Boston, Massachusetts. I love that city. Yahoo! Now, what is this other? This looks like
just 2 days ago, I believe it was, right?
Yes, it was. It was.
We went to
no,
our.
was it yesterday?
Was it
no,
no, it's 2 days ago.
2 days
I think
ago.
It was.
Feels 2 days ago.
So we went to our P.O. box.
Yes.
Which is P.O. Box 1312. This is the funniest thing with Darrell and Ed. P.O. Box 1312, Culver City, California, 90232.
And we're always excited to go to our P.O. box and see.
Usually I open it.
Yes, but this time Ed said, "Go ahead, I'm feeling saucy. You go ahead."
Boy, were we excited when we noticed there was a box.
This box was so big, I had to carefully, I couldn't even get my fingers around it because it filled the
you had
P.O.
to jimmy it right on out.
I had to jimmy it out. There's no name on it.
Yes.
So it's a mysterious...
anonymous fan.
An anonymous fan. We open it up.
So we learned something new because this must be maybe an English thing where they call gummy candies.
Yeah, because we opened it up.
You know how they have that spotted dick, that, what is it, like a sausage or something?
It's called bangers and mash.
No, but there's another something called a spotted. I think it's some kind of English delicacy.
But here's the thing. If you're looking on YouTube, you could see what it came. It came with a giant note on the first thing we saw, and it says clearly, do you want to read that for the audience listening?
We were delighted because it says, "Eat a bag of dicks."
Eat a bag of dicks.
Yeah, so again, I'm assuming that must be the English term for gummy candy because inside,
when we moved the note away, there is a giant bag of gummy, interesting shaped objects.
You can look on YouTube if you want to see what they look like. They are delicious. They're a delicious bag of dicks.
These are delicious dicks. These are obviously high quality gummy product. Mm-hmm. And whoever sent us this bag of dicks, Darrell and I love you.
Hey.
Look. Oh, that's good. Oh, Ronnie.
We have a special guest today coming into the studio.
Oh, my God.
Hey, boys.
It's Ronnie Van Zant. You've been dead for years.
Yeah, I was listening to your show, and it was kind of the funniest thing I want to share. I mean, this is one of my songs. Was like one of the most popular songs ever written.
Oh,
but
yeah.
We had to change the words when, you know, the higher up said you're supposed to do it this way.
Oh, yeah. That's what we were talking about on this show, Ronnie.
So I turned to my band and said, all right, Leonard Skinner, we're going to have to change Leonard Skinner. We'll change it around for them. But the real words go perfect with the show. You ready?
Let's hear them. Yeah, we're going to hear these are the never before heard lyrics
True.
to Freebird, right?
Those are delicious dicks, boys. Thanks for letting me have one.
Oh, no problem.
If I stay with these old thoughts, well, things will always be the same.
They'll always be the same.
But I am free of those turds now.
He's free of those turds now.
Get those turds out of my brain.
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 Whoa, 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 whoa.
Lord help me get those turds out of my brain.
Visit DarrellandEd.com to find easy links to everything we do, including the Funniest Thing fan page. You can listen to our podcast on iTunes. You can check out our YouTube page, our Twitter feed at Darrell and Ed. And you could write to us and send us anything, including a big bag of dicks if you like, at Funniest Thing, P.O. Box 1312, Culver City, California, 90232. And as always, thank you for being a part of Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed on Unity Online Radio. And whoever sent us this big bag of dicks, they are delicious.
Get those turds out of my brain. Whoa, 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 whoa.